Welcome to the ultimate podcast experience with conversations about politics, religion, finances, and the meaning of life, and all the other subjects and stories that Nana told you not to bring to the kitchen table, and a whole lot more. Join our hosts, James the Red, You'll Be Back, and Sam the slippery smooth producer as they settle the ultimate question, have y'all heard about this?
Well, Mr. Nomad Ben.
I was just thinking, man, there's got to be a lot of caterpillars there if it's called Caterpillar Country.
Stirring and stirring my coffee.
So do you, Indy.
Kids, if you don't know this, you're probably going to get hurt here tonight.
And go, sir, I'm recording you.
Hey, how many of those sodas do you have there, kid?
Hey, if I hit the $25 one, drink's on me.
So someone farts in the camera to get 1 million views.
I love that Spock character.
I am your father.
Have y'all heard about this?
And we're rolling.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Hey, good morning.
How are you men doing today?
We're doing good.
All right.
So, should we address the...
The elephant in the room?
No, I think we should address the nomad in the room.
Oh, good transition.
He's no elephant.
All right.
Guys, we've done it. We have pulled something off that we've been promising for weeks and weeks and weeks, which is we have wrangled, well, he was hitchhiking, and Sam picked him up in his van this morning, but we have a special guest on our podcast this morning.
All right.
So we got Mr. Nomad Ben here.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Ben, how you doing?
Good to meet you guys.
All right, so for those of you that don't know, Nomad Ben has a really awesome YouTube channel. What's the name of your channel, Ben?
People call me Nomad Ben, which I think maybe since I'm kind of a smaller channel, I might just drop Mr. and just be Nomad Ben because that's people know me as. But I'm Mr. Nomad Ben. So when I created the title for it, because it was an inspiration of a YouTuber I follow, Paging Mr. Morrow, then I'm like, okay, I could probably use the Mr. And then I'm like, well, I'm kind of a nomad in spirit, and I've been around the United States and lived in 5 different states before I was 26 years old. So I'm kind of a bit of a nomad. I've been majority around the country on family vacations, so I'm well traveled.
I actually like the Mister. I mean, it's just it makes it kind of gives
if you like it, I'll keep it.
Of respect.
Yeah.
And, I'm not just Nomad Ben. I'm Mister.
I'm Mr. Nomad. I like that. Then I'll keep it.
Yeah. and I've seen a lot. Your videos are great. I think you have great content. I was watching a video just recently about the tearing down of a Shoney's in Dalton, which, when I saw it, I thought I was really sad. They're tearing down this Shoney's. They're going to put up a Starbucks, of course, just like every other street corner now has to have a Starbucks on it. And so to me, it was kind of like, I remember growing up in the 70s and the 80s and going to Shoney's. You know, after church, we'd go to Shoney's. There was 2 pretty close to this church right here. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of like, you're watching sort of like an end of an era. You know what I mean? So there was a little bit of nostalgic and sadness in that. But what made you get into, kind of wanting to chronicle some of those sort of things?
Well, to be a YouTuber and all that?
Yeah, or just kind of the content that you have on your channel.
Okay, so I'll just give you the Reader's Digest about why I do what I do. So when growing up, I always wanted to make like films and all that, and I didn't realize, because I'm almost 32 years old. I'll be 32 in October. So really, when I was probably in my teens, I wanted to make movies and stuff. But my best friend and I would always make films together and all that with our cameras and pretend we're Star Wars characters and all that. 'Cause I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
I love it.
So then I went to when I got to college. Before I get to college, when I was in high school, I did these technical college courses, did TV and film and media, and I did that. Then I took that as college credit. Then I went to Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was going to do that, maybe a little bit of evangelism or something like that. And then I decided to switch majors. And I didn't realize that this particular industry was so hard. So, and now everybody's doing it now. So
are you saying evangelism or YouTube?
No, YouTube.
Oh,
evangelism's hard.
I
was like, man.
Evangelizing on YouTube.
No. YouTube's so easy. Yeah, anybody can pick up a camera and upload. But
I don't think you can evangelize on YouTube, can you? I think they'll pull that off. Won't they censor that?
Oh, I guess if you're if you're preaching Jesus, but then you're talking about their guidelines alongside with Jesus. So
that are constantly changing, by the way.
Oh yeah, they said, you need 1,000 subscribers, then you get paid. They're like, nope, you need 1,000 and 4,000 of hours of viewing content.
Oh wow!
Like,
wait, 4,000 hours?
Yeah, you need 4,000 hours plus your 1,000. So
Wow.
they just keep changing because everyone's getting on board, and I think they're just trying to make it harder for people to make money.
Yeah,
but there's other like platforms like Rumble and all that too, which I'm considering like kind of doing on both sides because Rumble pays small channels, so it depends on how many people like your stuff, then you might get a couple bucks here and there from Rumble.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if and I'm not an accountant, and this I'm not giving tax advice.
Yeah.
No, I am. If you're on YouTube, for example, and you have those minimums of the hours of views and all that, how much money is it?
At
the minimum?
Depends. It really depends. I think it could be like a couple of bucks. And then I guess the more and more views you get, then it get more money or more subscribers. It's kind of subscriber viewer ratio.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine, another YouTuber friend of mine, he kind of goes by like what you could tell when people are faking their accounts or whatever, when they have like 1 million subscribers, but they have which I'm exaggerating the million. So, but let's just say it's like 2,000 subscribers and their views are like 10 views a video. That's like less than 1%.
Well, I asked that because my oldest son actually wants to be a YouTuber. That's his passion in life. And it's weird because it's easy to dismiss as a parent, be like, okay, dude, like we're going to just continue talking about serious stuff in life. But then you're like, at what point as a parent do you say, like, no, if you really want to do this, how do I enable you to do it well and to be, like Dude Perfect guys, they're pretty good guys and they're making tons of money doing it.
By tons you mean millions.
Yeah, millions of dollars.
Specifically millions.
They're like showing up now to arenas and 18-wheelers worth of equipment and all this stuff. But but I asked that because he has a similar situation. My son actually has a YouTube channel. Same thing. Probably his is different though. His has like 10 subscribers and probably 10,000 hours of views. Yeah, it's just the grandparents watching it over and
over. So Ben, this is where Yule's question came from when he said, "No, wait, when do you start making money on YouTube?"
Yeah, they just keep changing. For all I know, it might be 2,000 subscribers and 20,000 hours of content. I don't know. So
they just keep moving the goalposts.
It's almost like it's like you need to have a tax attorney. Like our tax code is so complicated for a reason, on purpose. Mm-hmm. It's so that you can't just have the average person just kind of getting a command of it, right?
Yeah.
I think YouTube's the same way. It's like, let's make it as complicated as we possibly can because that gives us more power.
I think the pandemic played a role too, because it kind of leads up to my story. It was like, so after like college, and I'm like, oh man, I was a little in over my head. I probably should have double majored or minored in something to make some real good money and pursue my passions in media and all that.
Right.
But I didn't. I was young and dumb, and now I'm older. I'm a little more wiser and still dumb in some of my decisions, but we're men.
It doesn't get better.
It doesn't get better. So I moved down. I interned at the Walt Disney World Company and did that for 6 months.
End of podcast.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So I actually met my wife there, and we both worked at Epcot. And it turns out she's actually from the Dalton, Georgia area, Chattanooga, Tennessee area. So after my program ended, I went back to college until Oklahoma, finished my degree, and then I went back to Illinois to save up some money, then moved down to be with her after her program ended, and she was still in college at the time. So that's kind of like how I got here.
Yeah.
So, but I just still been trying to find my place. I basically started my life over from scratch. Yeah. Basically. So.
Well, I have a question. Who goes to Illinois to save money?
Well, now you don't. At the time, my parents lived in Illinois, and I have family and good friends that were up there. So, So I moved down here when I was 22 years old, because I remember turning 23 living down here. So.
Okay, so you've been here about 10 years then.
Almost, yes.
So we'll claim you as a Chattanoogan, as a Southern man, as a Dalton resident. So what's the differences that you've experienced living in? So what part of Illinois was it? Was it like in the country, like Peoria?
Well, I had family that lived in Peoria for a period of time, and
Caterpillar country.
Yeah, my uncle is actually he works for Caterpillar.
Okay,
so he's in
Oh, the company. I thought we were talking about the animal.
No, the caterpillar like equipment is headquartered.
Yeah,
there.
those big,
the yellow iron.
Yellow iron.
Kind of like Komatsu, right
I was
there.
just thinking, man, there's got to be a lot of caterpillars there if it's called the caterpillar.
There probably is, considering all the wheat they grow.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I grew up in Wheaton, Illinois, Warrenville, Illinois. That's kind of a lot of that area is about 20, 30 miles west of Chicago.
Oh,
so I grew up in one of the richest, DuPage County is one of the richest counties in I want to say not in America, but just in the state of Illinois. It's one of the richest counties.
Is that where all the mobsters fled to after Al Capone days?
Because crime just got significantly worse, especially on Aurora and Naperville area where I went to church out there, and there was a time like we were talking about earlier before the show about cops, and I remember just being a 19-year-old youth with my friends, and we're just having a good time. Just we're catching up. We haven't seen each other in about a year, so because we go to different places, we work other states or go to college in other states, so we're having a little reunion, and we're just being dumb kids. So I think we're 18, 19 years old at the time, and we went to some playground at a school in Aurora, Illinois, which is I don't know how bad it is now, but back then Aurora was like, you don't go to Aurora. So
you guys were just like, we're young, we're men,
we're young, we're
full of
punks,
testosterone. Let's go to Aurora.
Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah. So we're just like chilling at a playground, drinking soda, and yes, we were. I kid you not, we're drinking soda. We're not breaking the law.
Hey, it happens. It happens.
But I did have I don't smoke anymore, but I did have my cigars in my pocket. So
oh wait, you smoke cigars?
Yeah, little cigarellos or something like that.
Dude, he's James's best friend now.
That's what I used to do.
We have a lot of good cigar smokers
episode
in this church. So
yeah, I don't really do that anymore. So but so we were just chilling. All of a sudden we see a squad car come up, and I didn't go because I know better not to flee from the police. And another buddy of mine who is he's a very quiet person, but he spoke for me because I was scared. I'm like, oh my gosh, cops. He stayed with me. He did all the talking. Not the most quiet person on our group of friends did the talking.
He rose to the challenge.
Yeah. And then the other three guys who were in our group, they fled. So,
oh my goodness.
But it turns out that one of the guys in our group, his mom kind of knew the cops, and that he had a brother who was kind of a delinquent. So it's kind of connected to the family with their side. So they kind of understood what happened. They just knew that we're just a bunch of punks just hanging out,
just drinking Dr. Pepper, sliding on the slide in Aurora, Illinois,
and not doing anything.
Yeah, but
hey, here come the cops for not doing anything wrong. Let's run.
We had a police sergeant. He kind of goes, "Hey, you guys, someone's going to jail tonight. Come over here." Or something like that.
Goodness.
So we're all scared. And then the chief of police happened to be out there that night, or at least his superior. Then he came and talked to me and my buddy. He goes, "Hey, I was going to say, you two did was smart. You guys stuck around and talked to the cops and talked to me. Like, your friends might go to jail tonight."
Actually, you know where I thought this story was going? I thought he was going to say, "Kids, if you don't know this, you're probably going to get hurt here tonight. There's another gang that we have to run off here at midnight every night, and they're going to kill y'all."
Well, I thought the cops were going to come shake him down for their,
they frisked me and my friend.
Hey, how many of those sodas do you have there, kids?
Those will be coming with me.
Well, they did frisk us, and then I was again scared, and they pulled out my tin of the Irish cream cigars, and I said, "Don't worry, sir, they're not laced with anything." The cop goes, "Shut up!"
They're not laced.
Oh man, you're talking about a generational difference.
They literally were laced with Irish cream, but okay.
Yeah, my buddy, the quiet one, goes, "Ben, just shut up." This is 19-year-old me, just all that. So.
Ben didn't know the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, never talk to the cops. Never talk to the cops. That's just a rule you need to learn. Never talk to the cops.
Yeah.
Except for yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
no,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
You have no right to be here, sir.
So. Yes, sir. I'll call my attorney now. Yes, sir.
Hey, here's some good advice. You remember that advice segment we had last week about
the wives driving?
Yeah. Here's a really good thing to do if you ever get pulled over by the police. Get your phone out and start recording them.
And go, "Sir, I'm recording you."
And see how fast you can make a video go viral by getting your ear grabbed and pulled out onto the interstate.
Right. Well, so after I graduated college, then I did the Disney program, moved down here, started my life basically all over from scratch, and then I guess like I just jumped various jobs to jobs, and you could almost a job I pretty much have done before. Like I've worked in radio at the 97.1 FM, the Sports Animal in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been golf caddy. I've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Have you ever sold pharmaceuticals or mattresses?
I have actually.
Actually, yes.
Let's talk about that for a second. I actually worked as an assistant operations manager for 2 years, and just a normal lowly hourly worker. So 2 years of that, then the management. And Sam, that's how me and Sam met.
That's actually how we know each other.
No way.
Yeah, Sam and I have been inseparable ever since. So
yeah,
right on.
Yeah.
Ever since the bowling alley.
Ever since the bowling alley, yeah. And then we're just buddies ever since. And
Ben was just like this really friendly. I mean, he's obviously a friendly guy, but he just was this friendly guy that just came up and talked to me and Chelsea at this mattress firm event when we worked for them.
Yeah, and I was the only one representing my crew because the other guys, they want nothing.
They never came to the.
They never. They only do it during Christmas time, and like Christmas is like you get free prizes. So I'm like, who want to go for free beer and and prizes? So
they only came for the prizes.
We're gonna give away a free Sealy Posturpedic.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
Mattress topper.
I ended up winning a book how to sell mattresses. Or
detergent.
Like
detergent. Topper detergent.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm curious the Shoney's thing.
Yes.
What they do with the big boy?
I don't know. So as long as
the statue out front of all the Shoney's, they're
they used to be the big boys. Like in the history of the Shoney's, used to be Shoney's Big Boy or
Shoney's Big Boy.
Yeah, you have to do some research on the Shoney's like franchise.
Like, are we talking about the bear?
No, not the bear. No, not big. No, not Smokey. Are you talking about Smokey the Bear?
Imagine like
a big boy.
Imagine like
a big boy,
a 1950s era kind of big guy, but he's kind of like a comical, sweet guy, kind of guy. That
think
was
of a
the big
very
boy.
chubby, think of an obese Elvis.
We're talking about
like suspenders, like red overalls. He had like a plaid shirt, I think. Yeah, this is what he looked like. You seen these on the roads?
Yeah, I never associated that with Shoney's.
Well, it was Shoney's Big Boy, so it was all part of a restaurant. So,
like when I was a little kid, it was the bear. It was Shoney Bear.
There was the Shoney Bear.
They did have a bear.
They did have a bear.
But
there was also Big Shoney's Big Boy too.
I had one. I had like a little Shoney's.
Do you still have it?
I might.
Did
you ever get their strawberry pie?
No, I never had a Shoney's.
They had a strawberry pie that was delicious and a chocolate cake that was delicious. They were the best desserts.
Well, when I always wanted to try Shoney's, and then I found out it was closed because the pandemic actually closed it down. But people, even before it closed it down, like people were saying, "Don't eat at Shoney's, it's awful." But I wanted to at least try it. It's an American eatery. So
isn't it bad though that places that used to be kind of a staple, now are like, don't go there. That's kind of gross.
Well, I think the theory that I have is that people are told that something's not good, so they just have to fall in line and say it's not good. You know what I mean? Like, the food really hasn't changed that much, but it's just like our perception of it was like we've evolved into such a higher order of like culinary cuisine.
Chattanooga, especially, like we just have some of the best food here, like of any city.
It's like if you want to go to the Golden Corral, but your wife's like, but do they have tuna tartare?
But I luckily I think I found out because I sometimes I go based on what people tell me, and I do try to put in good practice to research before people tell me stuff. And I'm the same way. Sometimes when I say things, like I want to make sure that's correct. Like we live in a technological world, we want to look up our facts.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh, are we supposed to be making sure that what we say is right?
No, everything we make up is true.
Well, someone told me that there's only one Shoney's left in the country, and I was going.
They like closed down.
Shoney's have been going.
I know there's one in Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Oh, is it still operational?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
So I thought that was like somebody told me there's only one left, and it's in like the Kentucky, Tennessee area. Then I found out that I'm doing research after I said that on my YouTube episode. I'm like, oh man,
they're everywhere.
So, there's still some available. Yeah.
So you can verify that about Muscle Shoals, but I think I've got a story for you that you could go investigate.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was in Muscle. So I work in a top secret job for the federal government, and I had to go do the secret mission in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And while I was there, I went to this little hole-in-the-wall diner.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yeah, it was great. And they had fried chicken, and they had all this other kinds of chicken. But they had something that I had never tried before, and it was Alabama white sauce.
Oh yeah, I've had that, some chicken wings and all that. Yeah, it's so good.
Do you want me to bring some out? My white sauce, I'll put it up against anybody's.
Oh, it was amazing.
So yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
So
that could be a whole show for you, Ben.
Oh yeah, dude.
I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. So the white sauce recipe that I use is Pook's white sauce. Bill Parker. Bill Parker. Pook. P-O-O-K. One of my best friends from way back. His name is Bill Parker. He was on Deschler High School's state championship winning football team in 1991.
Okay.
But anyway, at some point during one of the football seasons, they called his name out on the loudspeaker as Bill Pooker, and it's Parker. And so Pooker, he was Pooker for about a year, and that got shortened to Pook. He's literally been Pook. He's in my phone as Pook.
That's funny.
That's funny.
But he had a white sauce recipe that he's passed down to me, and it's the best.
Could you share it with us?
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to remember. You need 3 wet ingredients and 3 dry ingredients. You ready? So mayonnaise, white vinegar, lemon juice.
Hang on. Please, before you do this, let me just say, if you want this recipe, if you want Pook's white sauce recipe, you have to promise to share this podcast with 10 people.
There you go.
Well, if you don't do it,
I'll
and
tell
you get
what,
the recipe, then you're a bad person.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm telling you the ingredients. I'm not telling you the amounts.
Oh,
you want the amounts?
Oh,
yeah,
You want the amounts. You've got to give us a review.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's right.
But you use mayonnaise, white vinegar, and lemon juice, salt, pepper, and sugar.
Sounds
amazing.
Pretty simple.
And here's the only recipe hint I'm going to give you. Lots of black pepper.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it has a kick, but it's not like overpowering. Like, your kids could eat it.
There are variations on it. Some people use apple cider vinegar. Some people actually put some cayenne pepper in it and all that. But if you get with those 6 staples, there's something magic about how vinegar reacts with mayonnaise. Yeah, that's.
And are you calling this Pook's white sauce?
Pook's white sauce, yep.
All right, so if you want some Pook's white sauce, get in touch with us and we'll get you the ingredients.
Sam, did you try spicy food on your oldest Justine when she was a little girl?
Oh yeah, I used to spike my own my own chili with hot sauce. I used to spike my chili with hot sauce, and
watch your
Justine really wanted some, and I was like, okay. And so I gave it to her, and she loved it. She was just and it was spicy. I like spicy food.
Yeah, me too.
She just loved it.
So,
she's
can I segue and do a big triangle from the spicy food back to Chicago?
The spicy food back to Chicago?
Yeah, so I had a lot of relatives in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So growing up, went there quite a bit, and don't go there as often now, but love and a good old Italian beef sandwich.
Oh yeah.
And so you can get your Italian beef sandwich, or as they call it up there, just a beef. Just get your beef.
Get your beef. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
And so
the beef on, baby.
The beef you can get like pepperoncini peppers, and those are the mild, or you can get a hot kind of a giardiniera.
Yeah, giardiniera. It's like a mixture of jalapenos, pepperoncinis, all these. It's a mishmash of ingredients, and it's pickled and spiced.
Yul is literally turned into a Chicago gangster sitting right in front
of us. If I lived in Chicago, I'd weigh 380 pounds.
Oh, dude,
he would look like the Shoney's big boy.
Yeah.
Bigger. But years ago, we were at an uncle's house, and he had 5 or 6 Boston Terrier bulldogs. And if you know anything about these dogs, they are the most hyper. There's no in between. They're either extremely hyper or the laziest, fattest dog that snore. They start looking like an English bulldog. But anyway, they're pretty hyper. And I remember I was like 8 or 9, and one of those dogs started begging for, food.
Yeah.
And I picked up one of the hot peppers, and I was like, "Is this what you want?" And he's like, "Mm-hmm." I was like, "Are you sure you want it?" And he kept on, and I was like, dropped it on the floor, and there's 5 of them, so they're like, there's no, they're going to eat it as fast as it hits. They're not going to taste first. And I thought my uncle was going to kill me for doing that to his dog.
He probably destroyed his gastrointestinal.
So how did the dog do?
I have no idea.
He's like, I left right after that.
I remember him whimpering a little bit, walking off, and
I don't know if that's as bad. When I had a dog growing up, her name was Nikki. I actually had some Pop Rocks candy, and she was kind of gave me the baggy look, and over the panting. So I was like, "Yo, fine. Here's some Pop Rocks." And it hit the crevice between her tongue and with her teeth. And then she just stopped panting. You go, Like he made this face like.
I really just jumped in to tell that story. I was afraid Sam was about to incriminate himself with with his daughter services.
I gave my daughter the hottest pepper in the world. Just see how she'd react.
She liked it. I have photo evidence of her enjoying eating it.
Did it make her sweat?
No, she was, and then now she didn't like spicy food.
Now, Ben and Sam, this might be kind of before your time, but do you remember, Yule, that there was a cereal called Life Cereal, and they had.
I actually have a box of it unopened in my house. Right
yeah. So they had this little kid, Mikey, and the catchphrase or the tagline for the commercial was "Give it to Mikey, he eats anything." Well, you guys remember the rumor?
It's the worst tagline.
It actually is pretty dumb. He's like, he'll eat it. It's not very good, but he'll eat it. But do you remember the rumor that Mikey was killed because he had a packet of Pop Rocks? He poured them in his mouth and then drank a Pepsi right after it, and his stomach exploded.
Is that a thing?
It's
I've never heard that one.
You never heard that?
No.
Yeah,
he really died that way.
That was before, we had like instant fact checkers. Thank you, fact checkers from Google and YouTube, because otherwise...
And Facebook.
This is brought to you by the Ministry of Truth from the U.S. Department of Government. No, but that was the rumor. That was the rumor that he killed himself accidentally by Pop Rocks and Pepsi.
Well, I mean, people have like Mentos and Diet Coke. I mean, is that kind of the same thing?
I don't know. What would happen if you swallowed a bunch of Mentos and then chugged a Diet Coke?
Yeah.
It would just come out,
People
I guess.
do it. It just...
You just like throw it up.
We should try it.
Actually, that brings up something that's it's kind of the unfortunate thing about where we live, the time we live in, I should say, is like the instant fact checking. Like Snopes has ruined a lot of things that you're like could have lived on as like urban legends.
And Snopes is awful too.
There's probably like a lot of stories that I grew up hearing that are probably not true, but they're fun,
Well, look here again, big generational thing, and I'll tell you what it is when you grew up. I'm 46. I'm about to be 47, and then the generation before me, my parents' generation, pretty much if it was in print or on the news, it was just true. Nobody made up lies to just, as blatant as today. And there was certainly nothing. There was no satire. I mean, forget that. Like, that's not funny, to make it.
You ever read a Mad magazine?
Well, but again, printed, like that's for kids, right?
Yeah.
So I recall when social media first started, and we've talked about, old people on Facebook a lot and like how dysfunctional that is. But it is the funniest thing sometimes when the Babylon Bee. I don't know if
I love
the
Babylon
But
Bee.
people would put out these stories and just share it as a nice joke.
Yeah.
And the older people would go ballistic in the comments.
Yeah.
And
that's just not right.
And now you have fact checkers with like the Washington Post, and they're like, the Babylon Bee said this, and that is not true. It's like, oh, really?
It's satire.
It's satire.
I listened to their podcast, and one of my favorite taglines they have this little news segment, and it's like the news. It's like factually inaccurate, morally correct. I like that a lot.
So Ben, could you tell us a little bit about kind of your channel, some of your videos, kind of what it is that you like to achieve in these videos, and then why some of our listeners should.
Okay, so well, when I was trying to wrap it up, of course, part of being in a podcast, we always go off and tell our stories, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So I during the pandemic hit, I have started watching more of these settled YouTubers. I've been a fan of this particular YouTuber even before I really started watching these particular YouTubers during the pandemic. His name's Adam the Woo. He kind of like he's a single guy, roughly about your age, Yule.
Like old? You say he's old? Is that what
he's in his 40s now, but he started.
If you're this age and not married, you're old.
Yeah, he's knocking 50, but he started doing the YouTube career and he's like 39 years old, so a little over 11, 12 years.
Wow.
So, but this is when YouTube was a baby. He just kind of started posting videos. He was part of a band, but then he would just veer off and go on little adventures, like going to go to abandoned places and all that.
Yeah.
And now he does just daily videos with friends and by himself or whatever. So, but he just goes to these historical sites and he goes to these abandoned buildings and all that. And so I always found him fun to watch, and he was just very relaxing too. So,
right, yeah.
And I know everyone has TikTok and the 1 minute videos, or someone farts on the camera, they get 1 million views. And then it's someone who actually works hard on something, and they're like in a documentary style, and they get like 20. But like Adam's story, it's kind of like his. But he started out, he would get like very little views, and then now he started getting really big-ish in the YouTube community, maybe 5 years ago. Yeah. So it takes time. YouTube is it's a growing thing. It's like a seed. You plant it, you watch it grow. Yeah. So during the pandemic, I binge watched like probably hundreds of his videos, and then I discovered there's Tim Tracker, there's Jacob the Carpetbagger, Jackie's Super Enthused, Tampa J, and all these other people.
There's a whole world out there.
So there's a whole world of people doing very similar to what Adam did. And a lot of these people are theme park and roadside attraction things. I've always liked that kind of stuff. Yeah. I always have. Yeah. And I'm thinking, I'm like, wow. I live in probably full of that. I mean, around here. I mean, there's a lot of Civil War history out here. There's a lot of Native American history out here. There's a lot of abandonment history out here. There's a lot of good food around here. There's a lot of good beer around here. And I like all those things. Yeah. Why can I do that? Yeah. So then I thought, like, you know what? Because I'm to the point where like I want purpose. So I kind of felt like that this doing something would give me some purpose. Yeah. And told my wife, and she's very pregnant with my son, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing this on the side. So I've been at this hobby for almost. I posted my first episode in September 2020. So during the pandemic.
Has it been that long?
Yes, it has. That was my first. I filmed some during the summer, then I released them later, and before I started going weekly or whenever I post. So yeah, I've been doing this for 2 years. I'm now currently 586 subscribers in, so
nice.
Right on.
Well, yeah, this podcast 587.
Yeah, and this podcast will make you explode because this podcast is huge.
Well, as long as Dolly Parton will get. Well,
have you done a Dollywood episode?
Well, I would love to.
Hey, Dolly, if you're listening, we don't just want to do an episode. We would like a behind the scenes. Mr. Nomad Ben is going to come up there, and you're going to tour him around.
I would love that.
And Dolly, if you're listening, I know you gave us 1 star because Sam's an Ovitarian. But if you will let Ben do this, Sam will eat a steak.
Well, okay. So speaking of Dolly,
maybe.
So my parents actually just moved to Ringgold recently, and so I never really explored Ringgold. I just know it's there, and I always say some things for a rainy day or whenever I really do need some content. Because that's kind of being a content creator. It's always on the move, and you're always like trying to come up with something fast. And I've been wanting to pocket small towns. And I'm kind of going to do a small town explorations, which I did one on the town of Varnell, Georgia, not too long ago.
That was cool.
And surprisingly, I got like almost 100 and.
Was that the one with Pete the Cat?
No, Pete the Cat was in Fort Payne, Alabama.
Fort Payne, never mind.
My buddy Brett and I went to that one.
That was a good one.
So I thought
you ever been to Sail Creek?
I think I've driven there when I was a delivery person. When I was in management at a mattress firm, I drove with delivery people. So I've been to Sales Creek, but I never really explored Sales Creek.
Well, just wear your snake chaps if you go.
Wear some snake boots and all that.
Well, just if you're going to church.
Yeah.
We did a whole episode about that's where like snake handling churches started.
Don't get me started on that.
Which I was surprised to hear that was so close.
That was Sale Creek. That's
Sale
like
Creek.
Near Sonic.
When you were in the Fort Payne area, did you maybe peradventure go over to Mentone, Alabama?
My friend and I didn't really go that far. We just kind of hung around downtown and kind of made our way over to the falls that they have out there.
Did you go to the Alabama Museum?
Well, so I believe we walked by it, I think, but we didn't go inside. But I plan on going back. There's some things I would love to plan to come back. Even like I even got asked by the town of Cedartown, Georgia, like on their Facebook page.
Like getting requests?
Oh well, they said like, oh
That's
man,
cool.
you could do this here. Like you should document this
That's
and
cool.
like all that.
Whoa.
So
Yeah, very cool.
The town reached out to you?
Somewhat, yeah.
Oh.
So because I posted my video on their thing. I personally don't have a one for their channel, but I kind of go under my personal name, which I want to kind of somewhat keep private, but I'm not hard to find on Facebook.
Right.
But
that's how we are. We don't really.
Yeah, the jig's up now. I mean, you've been on us.
But I'm pretty sure people share and all that. So yeah. But,
I mean, even in Russia, people are going to know now.
People are.
So you mentioned Alabama. I just want to ask real quick. I was watching a video on YouTube.
My good friend's from Alabama too. So,
and Yule's from Alabama. So
you both Alabama boys.
I'm not. No, I grew up right here in Chattanooga.
Born and raised Saudi Daisy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, where Sam lives. So you were born in Alabama.
So were you around whenever Alabama would have their June Jam?
I was. I've never been to one.
Okay, they basically shut down the entire I-59 interstate.
Yeah,
I was watching a video on YouTube, and it was actually June Jam was shown on ABC. It was like a nationally televised thing, and kind of like you used to have like all these specials on network TV.
Right.
You have like a Bing Crosby special. Well, the Alabama took over ABC. They took over the entire town of Fort Payne for this. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
I think people nowadays don't realize how big Alabama really was back in the 80s.
They were. I mean, they were throwing hits out. I can't remember how many number one hits they've had, but I think they may hold the record for number one hits as a group. As a group.
It's
incredible. I have to listen to more Alabama, but I hear some. They have.
Well, listen, I've not lived in my hometown really as a resident in over 20 years, Tuscumbia, Alabama, but it's one of the neatest places. I love it. I will always call it home, even if I never live there again.
Yeah.
My mom still lives there. But such history. It's the birthplace of Helen Keller.
Okay, yeah.
And so her birthplace
cool.
there,
Right.
and they do every year. It's called Ivy Green. Every year they do a play called The Miracle Worker. It is a compelling. To see that play live it is truly. You would think, what's neat about that? Just go see it. It is like
when is that? When is
do they do
it?
this every year?
I think I've seen that.
It's in the beginning of June.
Okay.
The beginning of June. So
Is that a
So the
book,
Helen
too?
Keller Festival will be coming up. It may be the third week of June.
that would be interesting.
Yeah, I know it
Man.
actually. Yeah, this is good content.
If you want to go, can you get away during the week sometimes?
Anytime after 3:00. So, but Saturdays and Sundays are my best. I used to film on the weekends.
Well, if you ever want a tour, I mean, I can introduce you to some really cool Tuscumbians, and I'm proud of the place, so I love showcasing it and all that's happening.
Well, you'll know's a naked man from Iuka, Mississippi.
I watched that one.
Listen,
he's
never had enough gas money to make it to Tuscumbia. It's 30 miles away.
That's wild, man.
My parents moved to Ringgold recently, so I never really explored Ringgold because I'm kind of saving that content for something. Because then I find out there's more specialties about that city, a little town in between Dalton and Chattanooga. So they actually painted a mural of Dolly Parton in downtown Ringgold by this ice cream shop.
Oh, cool.
So
Where is that?
Okay, so it's literally on Tennessee Street and Nashville Street.
It's on the downtown side.
It's on the downtown side. Yes.
So like
by Jefferson's and all that.
I used to work down there just a little bit.
Yeah.
And but my sales route kind of carried me down. Is that not Ringgold Road, but the road that all the hospitals are on. What's that called? Battlefield.
Battlefield, yes. That's
so that you kind of go that way, and you're like, okay, well, is this Ringgold? Like, okay, it's just a bunch of strip
Shops
malls and
and
Lowe's and Home Depot, but then Ringgold's actually on the other side of the interstate.
Yeah,
the
it
old downtown.
Old
and it's
Ringgold,
pretty
yeah.
cool. Yeah,
And that's where the mural Dolly is, and her little chapel where she got married too is there as well.
Really?
So, yeah. So there's a lot of
Field
Dolly
trip.
Parton history in Ringgold, Georgia.
That is cool.
And
So
there's also
interesting.
just so much other kind of history.
So Dolly's been married to her husband for a long time,
yeah,
right?
I'm proud of that.
And they
That's
got
awesome.
married in Ringgold.
And got married in Ringgold, Georgia.
I would have
She's
never
not
guessed
from
it.
there, though.
No,
right?
she's
Yeah.
from Pigeon Forge. So
Okay.
that's her little town. That's why Dollywood and all that. But yeah, I do plan on doing a Dollywood vlog one of these days. But
Put me in, Coach. I want to be on that one.
well, you can join us after me and my wife go together.
Okay.
I've been,
Get Sam a turkey leg at Dollywood.
the thing is, like, I've been living here for almost 10 years, and I'm finally at a point where, like, the past 4, I've actually had availability to explore, because like the first 6 years of my life, I was trying to find a good, I wouldn't say just good paying, like, sustainable job, but like a job that allows me to have a decent schedule. I've worked odd hour jobs, like 3 to 11 or night shift, like bad night shift. I've had good night shift before, but good to me, a good night shift is from like 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Right.
That's an okay shift, but it's like from 12-hour night shifts, and you're just zonked, and then you work weekends and all that. So I've worked so many of those kind of jobs living down here that I'm finally at a place where I could actually do that, just to give a year off and explore. So
do you want a good an added bonus to your YouTube stuff you're doing now? We've got some ideas for you.
Yeah.
So while you're out doing it,
yeah.
like in Ringgold would be a great place to do this.
Yeah.
Go get some little Post-it notes and put on people's cars and say, "I'm sorry, I hit your car."
I'm not really a prank. Yeah, people tell me I should do pranks, but really, I'm not a prankish person. I'm too. I hate to toot my own horn, but I think I'm too much of a nice guy to do that.
No, I see that, Ben. I can see that already. I'm the same way. I have a hard time with like.
I'm not. Wait, you gave your daughter scorpion peppers.
I did not give her scorpion peppers.
I'm just
no. I have a hard time. Like I have a hard time with the kind of thing where you like say something that's not true to just get somebody to make a reaction, and then because like I see their face and I'm like, no, I'm just joking. Like I just want to just like.
All right,
make
Ben.
It better.
Ben, I've got something for you that you're gonna love.
All right,
okay?
what's up?
You should do a video about a gas station that's down in Calhoun, Georgia.
You're talking about Buckees?
Called Buckees.
I have a whole nebulous of that, my friend.
Oh, you already have a...
Yeah, he's already
seen
been.
that one. Okay.
Do you not know he's been to every Buckees in the country?
The only one in Calhoun. But...
So we were driving up I-75.
Yeah, we can talk about Buckees. Yeah, I love Buckees.
Yeah, we were driving up I-75 yesterday, and it was around 5:30, and had the kids in the car. We actually... Tara was in the car with her mom. Her mom wasn't feeling well, so she rode back from... our secret location vacation.
Mm-hmm. You're not there anymore.
Location vacation.
Varnell.
Well, yeah, we don't want to get it out because we don't want people to like descend on this little island. It's very private.
All right, you gotta tell me about it
talking
afterwards.
in hushed tones now. But anyway,
yeah.
So we were driving back up I-75, and we said, "Hey, let's stop in at that Buckees." And it was completely overwhelming to your senses.
Yeah.
In a great way.
It was amazing.
The food's fantastic.
So I think an average gas station has what, 8 gas pumps? Well, Buckees has 75 for starters.
More than that.
Like, is it seriously 75?
I'm not even kidding.
Beyond 75.
I'm not kidding.
It's close to like over 100 or something
gas
like that.
pumps?
So.
Yeah, it's that big. And you walk in, and it's literally like you walk into a carnival.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people like selling popcorn. They're like, "Hey, get your popcorn here."
Oh my
and they're like
goodness.
popping fresh popcorn.
Everything's so good at Buckees. The barbecue brisket's so good. The bathrooms, I kid you not.
Beef jerky.
Beef jerky's great.
They have beef jerky bar. It's like just a whole mile of different kinds of beef jerky.
And can I point out one thing? My favorite thing about Buckees, you're going to be surprised. This is my favorite thing. But
the 59-cent sodas.
No,
that's a good deal.
Yeah, it is.
This is genius. Whoever designed this at Buckees, I just want to thank you. You can go and get coffee there, like, at a self-serve coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all this coffee lined up, and you go up there and you pour your coffee, and then if you want, like say cream, sugar, all that stuff, guess where it is?
I have no idea.
It's back behind
you.
So get your coffee, get out of the way, and go make your
coffee.
Oh,
that's the worst. People that mix up their coffee thing. And they just stand there and mix their coffee. Yeah. You can't get yours.
So they totally.
And it's not like they're trying to speed through it. It's like they're like,
I know.
This is the part they enjoy, and they just sit there.
This is part of my morning ritual. Stirring and stirring.
Things like that are those
coffee.
People. It's like Sam, what you just said, like taking your time, making your coffee in front of the coffee spigot while everyone's sitting in line. It's no different when you're at like a any like busy like mom. I wouldn't say mom and pop. One of those smaller convenience stores like a Shell or BP or whatever. And then there's like maybe 7 people in line, and then the person's at the cash register buying lottery tickets.
Oh, I know.
And
I'll go ahead and take a number 2 scratch off.
And then they're like there.
Scratching it off. I know, it's
waiting
the
in
worst.
line. It's the same thing.
And looking back at the line like, y'all wish me luck. Here I
go. I'm going to break even, maybe.
So. Hey, if I hit the $25 one, drinks on me. Everybody go get you a Mountain Dew.
That's how you can afford it.
Yeah, but that is, I noticed that almost immediately when I went in there. I thought they engineered this traffic flow to get away from the coffee. Once you get your coffee, you've got to go kind of around.
Yeah, that's intentional.
And then it's really spread out where people have room to do it. It's like, man, that's smart.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a whole section where they're making homemade fudge. They've got a section where they're roasting all kinds of nuts and they're like mixing it right there. They've got a section where they're actually bringing in like smoked brisket and chopping it up. It's incredible.
And then they make noises like "hey" or something like that.
Probably the
only
like
thing
heaven. Missing.
Is this heaven?
Probably it's a restaurant.
The gas station in the sky.
So,
probably the only thing missing at Buckees, and if y'all are listening, you can attribute this to me and send me a royalty. But Buckees needs a like little. Hey, see more than you brought money for? Sign up for the Buckees credit card.
Oh my God!
You could spend $1,000 at Buckees easy.
Oh yeah, I spent probably maybe $200.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, finance some beef jerky.
I think there were 500 people in there yesterday too when we stopped in there at 6 o'clock in the middle of Calhoun, Georgia.
Yeah,
500 people.
Crowded. Have you not been yet, Sam?
I have not been.
It's
yet.
worth just driving down.
I watched your video on it, so I feel like I've been.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm glad you.
I'll have to go. I'll have to check your video. I didn't know you had a video.
Yeah,
on
I
Buckees.
have.
That's really good.
Okay, so I do Bucky updates. So like, I'm a big Buckees.
Oh my goodness, you're like a Bucky fanatic.
I
Dude, like this was a god thing. You mentioning that.
I am a Buckees fan. I've always, I guess my influencer Adam the Woo. Like I really want to meet the guy, but he's like he had a lot of his influence from him. So when he went to Buckees, I was like, because it's always it's a Texas thing. And his videos were in Texas. He's at a Buckees. I was like, this is a really cool store. Too bad there's not one in Georgia. And I found out it expanded to Alabama and then to Georgia. Then I'm like, well, there's Calhoun. I live 30 miles away from Calhoun. So
your friend, is he in Texas?
Oh no, I don't. He's not a friend. He's just a YouTuber.
But this guy, does he live in Texas?
No, he lives in Florida now.
Okay,
so
I was just curious if he was going to be like one of these Buckees purists. Like that ain't a Texas.
That's the Alabama Buckees. That's not.
I would
the
love
Texas.
to be his friend though. That'd be fantastic.
Well, I'm going to start navigating like my like routing my trips through Buckees.
Yeah.
Like if there's no Buckees, I'm not going that way.
Hey,
If they have some in Florida now, you could go on it's on the coast side of Florida.
Like on your way to work in Chattanooga, you stop by the Calhoun Buckees.
Yeah,
I'll be there an extra hour late today.
There's one coming. There's one in Warner Robins, Georgia, and they're building one. It's to be completed next year in Sevierville, Tennessee, and I think the one in Crossville, Tennessee, just opened up. I think, but I know for a fact that Richmond, Kentucky, just opened theirs up recently. So.
Why haven't they come up here to Chattanooga yet?
I think they wanted Chattanooga.
Yeah, so
but
I hear
that'd be a good place for it.
He goes to the founder of Buckees likes going to rural towns to build Buckees.
So it's kind of like the Dollar General model,
Yeah.
just out in the middle of nowhere.
Did I tell you about that, James, or had you heard about that?
I've just experienced it, like driving. Yeah, because you see them everywhere out in the middle of nowhere.
Dollar General, just as like a short aside, they literally, that is their business model. They target the underserved communities, and their profit like chart is like a dream. Like,
well, you know who's the brainchild of that?
Who?
Purdue, that's running for governor in Georgia.
Interesting.
David Purdue is the
Okay.
Dollar
Is he
General
the chicken
brainchild.
man?
Well, his father is.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I knew he was related to the chicken people.
Yeah.
So
hey, can I just say we're memorializing a conversation today that I think could play out rather interestingly. So we're in love with Buckees. All right, hands up.
Buckees
we get
awesome.
It right.
Yes,
sure. So let's back up.
Based on my videos,
Sam loves
you're
the
a
brisket.
fan, so.
Let's just back up a little bit. I want to reference two things that I want to see how this plays out.
Right.
One, do you remember when I think it was Sam said that when self-checkout happened, his dad was the first one like, oh man, this is the greatest. And then we loathe it.
Yeah.
Imagine though, like when the first Walmart ever opened, you're like, man, we're getting this store called a Walmart. It's great. And now we're like, but in 20 years, all our kids are going to be like, man, these Buckees put all the other gas stations out of business.
Buckees is the worst.
Where else are you gonna go and have like the best poop of your life? Right? It's seriously, it's your own throne room.
Hey, Ben,
bathroom,
we
so.
do not talk about bathrooms on this podcast.
We do not want this
Grow
to be
up,
a
Ben.
crappy podcast.
Grow up, Ben.
That is a joke because 2 podcasts ago that was like almost the entire podcast was about
bathroom habits and all that. Well, I'm just saying, Buckees has the best bathroom.
Listen, I'm all up for a field trip.
So,
Yeah.
I don't care
We
if
could do
we
a
even
remote
record it.
broadcast from Buckees.
Yeah, let's
literally
have
can do
a Buckees podcast.
Let's
Well,
do
the only
it.
problem about that, there's no place to sit down. You have to sit down where their smokers are at outside.
Let's go sit in somebody's
We could
18-wheeler.
probably-
You're gonna have them do that.
We could probably ask them, like, hey, would you make a little table? We want to do a podcast right there in
might-
Buckees. They would
Well,
love that.
there is like those little areas.
Wait a minute. We could smoke cigars there. What are you talking about? We don't want
and
to
then blow up the gas station with the embers of our cigars. So,
That's like what's that movie where they have the gas fight and then they all like light up and then it just like the whole gas station explodes.
I remember watching an episode of Home Improvement with Tim Allen. And, like,
Gosh, I love that
Like
show.
I love that show.
We all heard about what happened down in East Chattanooga a couple days ago. There was this
happened?
lady that was the cops were following this lady. She was looking a little bit suspicious. So
Is this Artie's sister?
No, no. You talk about blowing something up with gas. It just reminded me of this. So she was driving kind of erratically. So the cops were pulling her over, and so apparently this lady had gone to the gas station right before the cops got behind her and was pumping gas. And when she was pumping gas, she had gotten, so I don't know if she was on some kind of like drugs or something, but her mind wasn't quite right. So, but she spilled gas like all over her.
No.
And she's in the car.
No.
The cops are behind her. She starts doing some weird stuff. And apparently at one point she lit like either a match or a lighter to light a cigarette. And it just like flames. So by that point, the cops had already decided to pull her over anyway. So they pull over, the blue light's on. She jumps out of the car. She's like on fire.
Oh my gosh!
Y'all didn't hear about this?
No.
She's on fire. Just running around. And one of those cops, the deputy, actually pulled out his service weapon and shot her.
No.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Why?
She jumped out of the car. He shot her. It said in the official police report that he shot her because she was waving a firearm.
It's one of those. Is this one of those a waste of time,
dude?
Jokes?
I knew that was Artie's sister. I knew it.
James told this joke one time, kind of like that was this story, and it was like, and like at first I thought it was fake, and then he had me going, and then it was like something like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I had a friend that.
Here's code. If you ever hear me say, "Y'all haven't heard about this?"
Yeah. We, as soon as you said that, me and Yule made eye contact. We were like, "Here we go."
Did you see about 2 weeks ago a guy set himself on fire in front of the Supreme Court?
I did see that. Yeah,
like that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, it's like that is literally like these days a 5-second news cycle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No. Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they were these like with Indian like protesters, back in the colonialization of India. That would do that, and you'd hear about it for years, like it was in the history books.
Yeah,
and now you're right. It's
now
like,
it's like,
some dude just burned himself.
another guy.
Next,
Yeah,
it's sad.
Yeah.
Well, people are live streaming their crimes.
Yeah.
And so it's weird because it's, I guess that stuff gets taken down like as soon as they know it, right? Like that guy that did the shooting yesterday apparently was live streaming.
Yeah, that was sad. I heard about
Wait,
that.
what?
I haven't even heard
have
this.
not even heard that.
10 people in Buffalo. Guy just walked, 18-year-old guy. Walks
He dressed
into
as an army guy or a mercenary or something like
yeah,
that.
walks into a supermarket and just starts mowing people down.
Kidding.
Killed the security guard there.
Where was this?
Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Horrible.
That's sad.
And and so get this. So they ended up engaging with him. I think they shot him once, but no, actually the security guard shoots him once, but he was so heavily armored that it didn't really hurt him. But as they closed in on him, they had him, and he put the gun to his neck. They said, but then they kind of talked him down, and they took him in like he's in custody.
Oh, so he's
Good
not
for
dead.
them.
Not
Yeah.
dead. Not
Good
dead.
for
So we're all Christians. We all follow Christ in a way that we hope is real. And here's my prayer. I think we ought to just sort of acknowledge this. The sanctity of human life has just been diminished to the point where people just don't care a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so if you feel like life is so bad that you have to go into a gas station and open fire, then there's something really missing. And I think what's missing is just truth and Christ. And so I think that's really what we ought to advocate for more and more and pray more about that.
Absolutely.
And that's what I kind of appreciate, like living down here, especially because, or just like when you find these places, even in the bluest of states or the reddest of states, when you guys see these historical preserved spots, and this is like that, it's not been touched by wrong people. It's like it stays there. It's preserved in society. And sometimes you have people like me that was like, okay, it's on my YouTube channel. Somebody from California that might think about moving to Georgia or whatever, they could see the history of about that out there. So. Yeah.
Very good. You should go to Stone Mountain, Georgia.
I plan on going to Stone Mountain one day.
That's incredible.
That's another place I would love to check out.
Yeah.
So
before it gets torn down. I mean,
what are they going to do?
Well, they're going to blast the side of it off.
Are they really talking about that? That's just,
does it have Confederate generals?
It does. It has
Yeah,
Stonewall Jackson,
Oh, dude, that's
Robert
my
E.
hero.
Lee, and Nathan Bedford Forrest. I think was the third.
What are they going to do? Do we have a corrupt government that will just go ahead and destroy something like that for
I don't know,
for
man.
the small
It's
group
been
of people?
happening. Yeah.
I mean, I understand a lot of crap has happened, sure. I mean, even in Dalton recently, probably about a good year and a half ago, there was a Confederate statue. Me personally, about the whole statue thing, if they keep up, cool. If they tear it down, it's not going to affect me personally, but everyone has their points of view about it. So, but the town of Dalton though had downtown. If you guys been to downtown Dalton, they had a statue of Joseph E. Smith, I believe his name is.
Okay.
He was one of the. He was actually defended the town of Dalton, I believe, during the Civil War. He was on the Confederate side, but of course, it did not bother me, being a YouTuber or just a normal citizen of the town, to see a statue. It did not bother me. To me, it's just okay, cool. He's just some Civil War
history,
guy.
right.
It's history, and I respect that history.
Did they tear it down?
No.
Oh, amen.
Thank God they didn't.
Yeah,
but,
amen.
They actually just moved it to an old timey war hospital in the backyard of it. So You kind of have to look.
Okay,
for
that still makes me upset. But okay.
So this is my thing.
But you can still find it. It's out open to the public.
No,
you can still watch.
Yeah.
You'll still see it. So.
I think it's just got to be consistent. So are we going to keep monuments to the conquered or are we not? Because that's kind of my thing is like we have like the Trail of Tears, all this stuff. And so my thing is, okay, if we're getting rid of the Confederate statues, we got to get rid of all the Indian stuff because it's like
it's a thing,
I could understand that. Okay, they lost. We're not making monuments to the conquered. We're done.
You know, to me, I think
that's a good point.
It's a weird issue because I think growing up in the South, you understand the history of what has happened, and you know, I never recall at any point in my life having any sort of a visceral reaction to a statue. Yeah. Now, I do understand that there are those who say, well, why would you memorialize that person? That person to me is not someone that I would affiliate with or whatever. Yeah. And so I get it. So I think the whole statue thing is put up what you want.
Yeah.
Except for when it's on like public property, for example. There are certain things like in a courthouse. Like if I have to go to the courthouse every single day, like there are certain statues I wouldn't want to have to pass by personally. Yeah. Knowing I have to go there to conduct official business. So put it on the other side. Like think of a villainous person that you wouldn't want for you to be there. And all of a sudden you'd be like, yeah, I don't like that. But
like
put it across the park. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if there's a statue of Hillary walking into the U.S. Post Office and it costs $80,000 and you're like, every time you go, it just makes your blood boil.
My tax dollar put it.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Lady.
But what I guess what my point that I was going to say about it is, you know, memorialize things but do them in a place that they should be memorialized.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you go out to the battlefields, for example. Mm-hmm. One of the most solemn places, you know, we were just talking about like Chickamauga outside of Ringgold.
I actually did a vlog in Resaca, Georgia.
It's such a beautiful place.
It is. There's always
But
fog.
that's where the memorial should be, right? This is where the men fell. And anyway, that's just kind of my take on it. It's bothered me a little bit with the I don't know, when people rise up to say, you know, take this statue down. I think the thing that doesn't make sense to me is it's been there for 50 years. Yeah. Nobody's ever said a word. Why is it important today?
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying don't take it down. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I just want to know, why is it now? Why do you now say this is it? Or have you been fighting this for 30 years? Show me you've been fighting it for 30 years. Maybe I'll applaud your efforts.
Right. And it shouldn't be taken down by a mob. You know, like when they like sit there and like pull it down and break it and stuff. Like I think that's silly.
Yeah, I agree there.
So like just like Indiana Jones, that belongs in a museum. So do you, Indy.
Cover your heart.
I love Indiana Jones.
I love Indiana Jones.
I really hated the fourth one.
Oh yeah,
I don't think I even saw the fourth one.
It's not canon.
Just don't.
All right, so how about we actually got a review? Do you want to go into some review time? So
we got to show Ben how big we are.
When
you guys are getting bigger. That's last time you told me you're 50 listeners. Now you're over 200 now.
You mentioned that about the seed. Like I think that's what we've done, and it's cool watching this thing grow.
Consistency.
Well, the only thing that I ever really want to read are the 1 stars, because the 1 stars I think are the most entertaining. But as we were wrapping up the podcast last week, I got this texted to me. And it's a review of someone who really wasn't all that happy with us.
Oh, no.
And specifically me.
I have a feeling I know who this is coming from.
All right, so this is from Business Interrupted. Business Interrupted.
Why have I heard of that before?
He says this: I am the poor soul who has forever been scarred due to the childish games you played on me that infamous day in 2019. Okay, at this point, I'm like, this could be anything. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He says, again, this is from Business Interrupted. He goes on to say, I have never recovered and have been attending therapy the last few years to help me move on from this incident. Gee. I have not used a public restroom since that day, and I will go into panic anytime I hear loud knocking. All right, so this is when I knocked on the door that I thought was my friend Wes. Turned out it was some random guy. Apparently, it was Business Interrupted.
I think this is episode 8. I don't think you can listen to this.
He says, I've not used a public restroom since that day, and I will go into panic anytime I hear loud knocking. All that being said, finally knowing who did this to me will ultimately help me recover and move on. And he says, I am enjoying some nice Mexican food as I type you all, and I think it's time to get back on the wagon, public toilet in my case. Unfortunately, I'm still giving you all a 1 star since using the women's restroom is quite pervy and you shouldn't be doing it.
That's awesome.
So another 1 star. We just cannot get a break in the reviews of our podcast.
But they're adding up.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, we're almost to 6.
I think that was 6.
Yeah. So back to back to what we were talking about earlier. If you want Pook's white sauce, give us a good review, 5 stars. Give us several. Recommend this to 10 of your closest friends. If you do, email us at, Sam?
HYHAT Podcast at gmail.com.
All right, email us at that address. Tell us you've done it, and ask for Pook's white sauce recipe.
Can I tell you how good it is? So this is best served with just smoked chicken, right? Or chicken on the grill, and you can kind of cook it on it and then dip it in it. Now, Pook, we used to have to watch him. Okay, true story. We were in college, and Pook would get all the raw chicken and dip it in the white sauce, and then cook the chicken, and then he'd save the white sauce for dipping. And we're like, Pook, you can't dip into that chicken that you dredged your raw chicken.
You have raw chicken in that sauce.
That's E. coli.
I was wondering why I always was in the men's bathroom. But yeah, we actually caught him doing that one time and had to reverse his thinking on how to appropriately handle chicken. But
man, Pook sounds like a character.
He's the best.
Football player,
he's
chef. Although he's not very clean, chef.
Pookster. We call him Pookster. The other thing, though, I was going to tell you is it was so good one time I told somebody, I said, I think I could put this on cornflakes and eat it.
Dang.
So good.
Did you try that?
Dang.
Hey, one other funny Pook story. Pook went in college. Not only did he cook this chicken with white sauce all the time, he would he had a little fry daddy, and he would always make tater tots or fries in his fry daddies. You know, it's like, who wants baked fries? You know, fry those things.
Yeah, fry those things.
And so
I like baked fries.
His roommate, who was
fried baby,
one of my other best friends, Andrew Carpenter. Andrew passed away. Now it's been over a decade.
Oh wow!
Car wreck, tragic car wreck, but a just a great guy. But Andy came home one weekend, and his sister said, "Andy, why do your clothes all smell like you work at McDonald's?" Because Pook's running that Friday like 3 times a day in their apartment.
That's awesome.
I wanted to ask Ben. So Ben is a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
You know, Disney bought Star Wars.
Oh man,
so
I love that Spock character. Me too.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask Ben because I've had two daughters, and I just had my first son, and Ben just had his first kid, who's a son, and that comes with a lot of pride. I'm sure y'all both have sons, James and Yule.
Yep.
Like, it's different. It's different than having daughters.
I take pride in my daughters too. But.
I do too. No, but it's different. No, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
When he's not feeding him a ghost
hot
pepper.
sauce. Yeah.
Oh, look at my son. I'm so happy. Yeah, here, daughter. Here's a ghost pepper.
He's like, hey, did I tell y'all the other day I gave Ben some ice cream? It was beautiful. Go eat your ghost pepper, Justine.
I was hanging out with Sam's family like years ago, and little Justine was an infant.
Oh yeah,
and I'm just trying to be the cool uncle figure ish.
He's been Uncle Ben. That's kind of his. Yeah.
So I was like, "Hey, Justine, you want to try my ice cream?" And she takes a lick, and then she held like my hand and kept grabbing my hand. She just kept
Ben's
eating my ice cream. And he took a picture of me shrugging. I'm like, ah.
And my little she was probably like 18 months old or something like that.
2 years old.
Like,
did you name your son after Ben?
Slightly.
I knew I had like, some of your inspiration.
It was like Ben wasn't a reason to not name him Ben. Let's just put it that way. You know how there's certain you know how there's certain like ones you're like, I can't name it. Like for me it's Wesley. Can't ever name a kid Wesley.
Or Yule.
Had a bully. Yule, James. No, I'm just kidding.
There's always one of those.
But like Ben, it was like we liked the name Benjamin. It meant son of my right hand.
Yes.
Or it still means that, I guess.
It's a biblical meaning, man.
It's a biblical meaning. And then I was like, and also Ben, like that'd be kind of cool.
And Ben didn't screw it up, so
and
let's
Ben
do it.
didn't screw it up.
Well,
all right. So you want to finish your story? Sorry,
yeah, finish your story,
we got you off.
So
track.
I was saying that Ben has a son now, and so you know how is it being able to be like, I am your father?
Oh, dude, I could tell you.
Wait, is that something from Star Wars?
Yeah, you know when Luke. No, well,
you know when Captain Kirk said that.
Yeah.
For the Klingons.
I thought it was Groot that said that.
Groot.
I am Groot. Groot.
Oh man.
No,
if we didn't get any reviews before this, we will later.
Gene Roddenberry.
I thought Star Wars was owned by Disney.
It is.
It is now.
And we still watch it?
Well, if you can watch the originals and watch the old trilogy. Watch the old trilogy, watch the prequels, and watch the Cartoon Network owned Clone Wars.
Oh, that one's good.
And even the 2D cartoon. You won't feel guilty.
And then you'll see, and then of course Harrison Ford's about to make another appearance in it. So
God, that's in the.
I think he died.
I was so sad when that happened.
Spoiler alert!
It should be. The movie came out almost like 8 years ago.
It's like 8 years ago.
It's like. Where
but anyway, so what just tell us about being a new father.
Well, Oliver's 2 now, so in speaking, I'm not going to reveal his middle name nationally because my dad's a very private person, but the middle name is named after my father mostly. Cool. But his name, it was like I knew so many good people. Named his name. Other than just my dad, I have a good friend by that name. And then when I moved here to Tennessee, or this church I started going to, his name was that name. And then my current pastor, that's his name too.
That's awesome.
So I've known so many good people with that name when Lindsay and I were trying to discuss names for our kid because we couldn't 100% agree on some things.
It's tough.
But
where's Lindsay from?
Lindsay's from Dalton.
Okay.
So Dalton, Chattanooga area. So she's born and raised around here. So. Yeah, that's the reason why I moved.
Has she ever had an Italian beef sandwich?
Yes, she has. I made sure she had a bit of the Chicago experience before.
Dude, Ben is a good cook too.
Yeah,
he
love
is
cooking.
Really.
She says,
good.
"I know." When I do the,
I should have had him
cooking,
bring some.
And she goes, Ben, I know I could cook, but you do the cooking, so that's why I don't do it. So
that's my wife's excuse too. You love it.
You love it. So
hey, so you mentioned
I cook, she does the dishes. That's actually the deal we have.
Hey,
so.
that's a good deal.
Yeah.
You mentioned your church, and I'll just have to say that one of the first things that we did as having Ben as a guest this morning is we did a little foot washing ceremony.
We did, yeah.
Because Sam spilled his coffee all over him.
Yeah, I'm the first.
Yeah, the first guest we ever have, Sam douses
him
him with an iced coffee.
So
at least it was
a
iced.
new special guest for the show. Just be prepared for a christening of the iced coffee by Sam.
So he was both sprinkled and
so he's a member. He's a member now, right?
I'm now a member of this church that they do this podcast in. So.
We'll be needing your financials pretty soon. No, I'm kidding. We don't even do stuff like that.
So Ben, your YouTube channel is great. We enjoyed watching it. Sorry I didn't see the one about Buckees. I definitely will go check that out.
I have getting close to 150 videos, but that's
nice.
But some of them are just small videos or little update videos. I don't want to count those, but that's according to the YouTube, that's still a video. So
yeah.
It's like our announcement.
We have a podcast where we just said we're not doing a podcast. We got credit for it.
I'm glad you told us because I always like to know what my investment's about to be when I go down a trail. So I look forward to watching some of them. I think it sounds really cool. And, man, we'd love to do some on-site stuff.
And if you guys ever want to go on actual adventures, if you guys are comfortable being on camera, you guys could definitely go out.
Have you seen us? We'd love to be on camera.
We have a face for radio, but we love the attention.
Yeah, I always am open to have friends. I've collaborated with a couple of YouTubers. I got another collaboration coming up this summer with another fellow YouTuber. And so one of them actually just moved to Florida recently. Me and him and his wife started becoming really good friends. They're from Cleveland, and they moved to Florida. I'm like, dang it, man. We were gonna be like
so close.
We were gonna be the dream team of YouTubing in the Northwest Georgia. Now you moved away from me, but we talk almost every day. But so I will. So I have collaborated with other YouTubers before, and Sam has actually been on a couple of my episodes before. So
right on.
When he took me to his college,
we went up to Covenant,
beautiful campus.
Yeah.
Those beautiful views of the Lookout Mountain.
Did he take you to the top of the tower?
We did not do the tower.
No, that is,
maybe that's something we could do another time.
Yeah,
So,
we'll have to talk to the
time.
admissions. I'll just say I'm about to donate a bunch of money, but if we can't go up in the tower,
you're about to get famous on YouTube.
Well, then let's see. And also, what were you in with the Asia buffet experience?
Yeah, we celebrated my last day in the mattress industry.
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
Yeah, and I thought it was a nice looking buffet. Sam's like, I think we should just chill and have a good time. Because I trying to be a little consistent. I take breaks every once in a while. I'm a dad too. I work, and it's a weekly hobby for me to do YouTube, to be locally around the area. So,
would you be interested in going to a Thai restaurant with me as an episode, and we could see how hot we could stand it?
Yeah, dude, I love Thai food. Let's do it.
What are you doing tomorrow at noon?
Let's do it.
Tomorrow at noon. Actually,
I think I'm actually going to a Thai restaurant tomorrow at noon.
Ooh.
With a networking contact.
Well, thanks for inviting us.
If it's not Alex Thai Bistro, then
I love Alex Thai.
Then just don't go.
I went with Noah to Alex Thai. It's a good place.
It's my favorite place.
But anyway, right. So if like my channel though,
we're doing it.
Well, yeah. Anyway, my channel is like think of me as your friend for like a small period of time. I'm just a guy with a camera that likes to eat, likes to have a couple of brewskis and review the food I eat and the restaurants I go to, and check out history around us or check out some old attractions. I will not do if they're I know it's safer hiking trails, I'll take them and all that. I have a project coming up for Hag Mill Lake, get a hands down walk around Hagbill Lake. I've been numerous times for my show, but this time I actually did the whole experience, one of these videos. So, but if I'm going to anywhere extreme like what you and I did, I need a friend to go with me. It's for safety.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
I have another YouTuber friend I collaborated before. His name's Chet the Dream Poet. He's a growing YouTuber. He's by himself most of the time. Him and I collaborated once, but we talk every once in a while. But his stuff, he talk about history. I talk about history too, but think of me as like a mixture of like Guy Fieri with like Adam the Woo kind of hybrid, but he is like hands-on historical. He's more like Adam the Woo, Indiana Jones kind of work.
Oh, nice.
He has more cojones than I do. Because he'll swim he'll swim where a stream runs into like an old Civil War tunnel or something like that.
Oh my goodness!
I couldn't do that.
Sam will do that.
So I couldn't do that. I'll watch. But
Mr. Nomad Ben, you've made 2 new friends today.
I know,
and
awesome.
It's been a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you said likewise. Let's do this.
Yeah,
again.
we look forward to watching some of your videos and maybe being in some of them at Buckees and the Thai restaurant. We've got it all planned out. Listen, and you need to know this about us. We have great plans. Our implementation is sporadic. But we'll get there and we would like to support you and see this thing flourish. So thanks for coming.
Very good. Thank you, Ben, for coming in today. Don't forget to leave us a review and share this with 10 friends and get Pook's white sauce.
And don't forget to like and subscribe, Mr. Nomad Ben.
Mr. Nomad Ben.
Link
channel.
in the description
below.
Yep.
Ring that notification bell.
So. Yeah, you got to ring the notification bell.
Ding. Ring that bell.
Ring our bell too. Ring our notification.
Hit follow.
I just subscribed to you guys last night. So
nice. Okay.
All right.
All right.
See
you next time.
See you later.
Have y'all heard about this?
The Have Y'all Heard About This podcast is produced by Play It By Ear Audio. Leave us a review, like us, rate us, or subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use. If you wish to contact us or you have a suggestion for the show, email us at hyhatpodcast@gmail.com.